The one really fucked up thing about being an INFJ is I am both my biggest advocate and my biggest critic. And I will sit there and I get yelled at by people a lot. And you guys will understand this when I get done with my little spiel. Because I will say things that are meant to be funny that I laugh at. And then when they get out in the world, people are like, why are you so mean to yourself? And I'm like, I didn't think that was mean. It was self-deprecating, but it wasn't mean. You know, I don't find myself that attractive. There are certain things about me that I can say, okay, that's hot. My chest. I mean, my chest is hot. This is not. But, you know, this is like this. It'll go away. It'll come back. It'll go away. It'll come back. I'm going to be doing some abs here in a minute because I just saw what my belly looks like. But, you know, I am my own worst critic. And I'll sit there and say, am I trying to be the best me I can be, or am I just beating myself up because that's what I'm used to? Yes. Yes. I was going somewhere with this. It was very valid and important. So what happens for me is I get into these cycles of like expansion and contraction. And right now I'm in a contraction mode where I'm like meeting all these people and getting all excited and having all this fun. And then all of a sudden I hit a point and I'm like, okay, there's overload. First off, overload. But secondly, it's like, what worked on this? What worked with all of this? And how do I make that work universally like this? And the problem, INFJ, this is INFJ classic. I get into these thought loops, this spiral way off in the distance, away from what I was aiming for. And I contract into myself until I hit a point where I'm like, oh, wait a minute, where did people go? And I didn't notice people disappeared on me. Because in my world, they don't really exist. They're figments of my imagination. I can have massive conversations with the projections I have in my head of you as a person, to the point where I will be talking to you about something we talked about and we never talked about it because I had that conversation already. And it becomes one of those things where it's like, we talked about this, right? No. Okay, I'm going to have to back up because now I'm trying to figure out where in my storyline of you is where we actually left off. And it makes life interesting / difficult, which is why I'm practicing as best I can, having no intentions, just my expectations of the world have been like blown up. I'm just trying to be momentarily living now and not worrying about what I want to say to you. Because if I worry about what I want to say to you, I will construct something that I can't maintain. And when I start talking, nothing will make sense. Which is why when I did my training or workshop up in Findlay, Ohio, I walked in with nothing. I said, guys, I didn't plan anything for this. And they're like, what? We're going to run with it. I said, if I make plans, I will forget segments. And then I would get upset that I missed the segments that I missed. When in fact, I should have just rambled and I would have gotten everything I wanted out. And all of a sudden you would have known. And what happened in my little rambling workshop? We did everything, and we did it quickly. And we like poked holes in things and talked about why this bad thing that could happen probably is not a real thing, versus this bad thing that we didn't know about is a real thing and needs to be addressed. And they all sat there like, wow, this is so cool. And I'm like, we allowed my mind to do its job. And it ran with it, and it did an excellent job. And that's how I am. Unfortunately, how this works out in the real world is, I think I've talked to you about something and I haven't. And then we start talking and I'm like, how do you not know this? Because everybody in my world knows this. My world, by the way, does not expand more than an inch past my body. So, not everybody in the world. Everybody in the world doesn't know. Everybody in this world does. I love you guys.